Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit, and I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And to get things going, I'm going to throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker, if that's how you do you, and you don't want to say anything, that's okay. You can just lurk. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. I'm moving my chair a little closer. I'm going to scoot my chair. I'm scooting. I scooted in a little bit. Sorry about that. Had to adjust. Get a little closer to my workspace. Yeah, Lashbrook, I hope you're well. Welcome to everybody here. It is a Monday. It is the last Monday of 2024 and the last model kit building stream of 2024. Reminder, and I will remind you a couple times, that I have an event tomorrow night, Tuesday, the 31st of December, will be Pat Bear's Anime Club Live, where we will talk about the fall season that just wrapped up, really, and the winter season that is starting soon, if not already started, kind of, but nothing really great has come out yet, so it's okay. But it is in earnest beginning soon. That'll be tomorrow, but here's the thing. Tomorrow's also New Year's Eve. So I'm going to start that, and then we're going to do it, and it'll be over 2 hours. And then we're going to look at some tier maker lists. Hi, Laysandus, welcome. We're going to look at some tier maker lists until it's midnight. And I'm going to ring in the new year with all of you. Now, that's 9 p.m. Eastern, and then midnight Eastern. So we're going to run 3 hours and a little bit of changeover. And then we'll go and raid somebody else. Hey, Lord Crashin', and welcome. So that's tomorrow evening. Tomorrow evening is talking about anime for several hours, or a couple hours, and then looking at some tier maker things. I got some good ones. Then we'll do the countdown. We'll start the new year off right. And then we'll go and raid somebody, probably on the West Coast. That's my guess, is we'll raid someone on the West Coast who is also doing a New Year's Eve stream. That's the plan anyway. Is there anything else that I need to say about that? I think that's it. Before we get into model kit building, just a reminder that bonus round is happening right now. Until January 2nd, you get 25% off a new 1-month sub. So if you're new to the channel, you want to get a 1-month sub, that's 25% off. If you want to get 3 months, that's 25% off. If you want to get 6 months, and pay up in advance, that's 30% off. It's a pretty good deal. Every 5 gifted subs purchased for the channel, Valorant will add at least 1 bonus gift sub. I should have put in there at least 1 bonus gift sub. I'm going to change that in the commands. I was supposed to do that, and then I didn't. Add at least. So right now, I have 2 gifted subs from Valorant. Thanks, Valorant. Non-sponsored, but part of this thing. So yeah, if you want to give some subs, you could. You don't have to, but you could. You'd be like Christopher Finn and Mr. Kung Fu Grip and the and Valorant, and then the person who gifted some subs who remains anonymous. We don't know. Okay, tonight we are working on, boom, over here. There it is, the Graze. The Graze standard / commander type high grade. This is the hidden Iron-Blooded Orphans kit. I assumed I had built this in the past because I've built some other gray mobile suits, or green, I should say, green and gray mobile suits, but I'd never built this one before. I also cannot unsee someone on Blue Sky was like, do you plan to make those look even more like high heels? And I'll make the photo here bigger so you can see that shit. Them's just high heels. Those are just some high heels. And I had said, well, no, not until you mentioned it. I don't have red paint, but I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. I am very tempted to get myself some red paint here and make those high heels, because that would be funny and fun. It wouldn't really be funny, it'd be fun more than anything else. So my answer to that question was no, but thinking about it. Anyway, we worked on the chest here on Saturday's stream. We already had some of our stickers applied to it on the front and back of the chest. And then the last 2 stickers, because this kit, not really many stickers. It's restrained, 4 stickers, 2 on the, 5 stickers, 2 on the chest, or 3 on the chest, I should say, and then 2 on the head. So we're going to get done once we finish the chest here, and we'll panel line a little bit. Once we move on to the head, it's going to happen. We're going to get through all the stickers, and then I don't have to think about stickers until this kit is done. Oh, I have one more thing to share with you before we get into here. My apologies. I should have done this sooner and didn't. Hey, I got a Christmas gift today. I'll talk about my lunch, which led to this Christmas gift. But I got a Christmas gift today. Oh, it's big. This image is huge. This is a render of a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. It is circular. There are no edges except for the circle edge. It is, as you may be able to tell, the constellations. And so it is very few colors. And I'm going to build it on stream at some point. When? I don't know. I'll put it up for vote with my $10 patrons. But someday in the future, I'm going to build a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle because I got it for Christmas. And what, am I not going to make content with this? I don't know the exact dimensions. I think it's going to be bigger than my build space, so I'll have to zoom out. And I probably can't build on this. I'm probably going to have to build on the white table, which means that I'm going to have to rebalance the cut, like white balance probably a little differently. Which I will, certainly. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to build that at some point. Again, 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle that I got today for Christmas for my lovely cousin and his wife and their kids. So, my cousin knows that I like board game stuff. And so they want to get me board game stuff or tabletop game stuff. And I think that's lovely of them. But they keep buying me games that require multiple people. Physical games. And I don't have anyone to play games with here. It's a lovely fucking bummer. You know what I mean? It is a wonderful, a beautiful gesture that is just not helpful at all to me. You know, it's one of those things where I'm just like, it's really nice. So the jigsaw puzzle is the first gift in a couple years. Hey, Just Leonard Spicy. The jigsaw puzzle is the first gift in a few years where I'm like, I could make use of this. I could do something with this. Well, it's very kind of them. In general, obviously very kind of them. To give me a gift. It's very, very nice of them. But in this case, I'm like, oh boy, that's a rough one. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what to do with these multi-person games that I can't really play. All right, so this goes like this. And then this goes like that. Okay, and then this goes here. And then that's the neck. And then we have two more pieces to put on here. And then we are done with the chest, except for, of course, panel line. Got panel line. So today I had lunch with my folks, and I had lunch with my cousin, my first cousin, and his wife and their two children. And we do that every other Christmas or every other Thanksgiving, although... So basically, my cousin lives and his family live in Virginia. My cousin's wife's parents live in North Carolina, which is very close to where we are here. But a lot of her extended family live in South Carolina. So every other year they come down for the, they swap between whose in-laws they're going to. And when they're down here, wait, is this B7? Make sure, is that B7? Did I pull up B7? Yeah, this is B7. Okay. So this is B7. Yeah. And then I need A3, and A3 goes into B7 first. Okay. So every other year we get a chance to go and see them and have lunch. It's nice to see the kids as they grow up. It is nice to and become more and more like full people, like genuine opinions, having things, not feeling really weird talking to their second cousin who they don't really know. And it's a nice time to see my cousin, who is a couple years older than me, but is very close in age. His younger brother is like a couple months younger than me. So, and he's a couple years older, but we're all pretty close. So it is nice to see them, for Christmas. I was very, very happy. And unfortunately, it works out that every other year, my other cousin goes to Virginia to see the whole family. So I never see him because he doesn't come the years that he does Thanksgiving the years that they go to another place. So it makes sense. It all works out. It's just a bummer for me because I don't get to see one of my cousins ever because he lives in Las Vegas and I have no reason to go there. And it made me so mad. He had an event for his work that was in New York, but it was right when lockdown started, so it got canceled. Like, we were going to see each other in 2020, and I was really looking forward to being able to see him because it had been a very long time. And it was like, oh no, we don't get to do that because we don't get nice things. But anyway, speaking of nice things, I got to see them. That's great. The two kids, the older one has no interest in anything that I have any interest in, so I cannot be the cool second cousin and talk about things that they're interested in. Now, last year, younger one liked Lego. He enjoyed the Lego stuff. So I knew we'd have that to talk about this year. We could talk about some Lego. And he liked, and there were a couple of things. He was starting to get into D&D, which I was very happy to talk very briefly with him about some of that stuff. But in the past year, he's gotten into Rocket League. And so we could talk about Rocket League. And talking about how it's soccer with cars and about that. Now, I haven't played Rocket League in a long time, but I still know about Rocket League, and I can still talk about Rocket League. I think y'all might enjoy that. I had talked about how I was actually more talking to his father, my cousin, about how playing Marvel Rivals this week, there are a lot of kids, clearly a lot of people getting consoles and but in case of Marvel Rivals, PCs or laptops or something, because there are a lot of people who are real bad at Marvel Rivals this week, and it was really fun playing against them and just talking with my friends. So I mentioned that I have a Discord where I talk with my multiplayer friends, and then and then I said, and I've been with some of these people, not all of them, I've been with some of these people since Halo 2, to which my cousin happened to tell his children, that came out before you were born, which is true, but also rude. Very rude for him to say. I know that. They don't need to know that. But yeah, yes, Lord Crash, and the Rocket League is just one of those really popular forever games, but it is a game that kids are still going to play right now. They're into it. He wants to get into Minecraft, but can't right now. But here's the thing. So I mentioned, hey, I'm playing some multiplayer games with my friends. That's how I keep in touch with some old friends, and we're in a voice chat, and it's really nice. And he goes, see, Patrick plays, I don't know why they call me Patrick, but they do. So Patrick plays games with his friends and they talk. So apparently my littlest second cousin isn't allowed to voice chat with anyone, including friends, because he is allowed to play some games with his friends and strangers as long as he's not chatting with anyone, and they do not trust him to only chat with his friends when they're not around to supervise. And I don't know the extent of this young man, and a very young man, and if they are being overprotective or if they are being 100% spot on. But I apparently, was not supposed to say that I talk with my friends So I did say, well, the thing is, the internet is full of jerks, which he knows. I said, there are a lot of jerks out there. And also, my friend group and I, we police each other and keep each other from having fun, because the idea is that we're getting together having fun. I give the example, I played Marvel Rivals yesterday because a friend of mine was like, hey, I have an hour and a half before I have to go pick up the kids from an event. Does anyone want to play Marvel Rivals? And we were like, yes, we'll do that. And this is his hour and change of fun that he gets to have with his friends. And so we don't want any of us, like, look, if we're losing and we feel bad, like, sure. But we're trying not to be griefers because we're all in our 40s. And we're just trying to have a good time with each other and get some gaming in. So we're trying not to be toxic around each other. We're trying to have a good time and fun. So we do kind of keep each other in check so that we're not getting ridiculous and weird about stuff. But yes, I may have opened a can of worms for my cousin and his wife, and which I do apologize for. But I assume that in arguments in the future, for months and months to come, my name will be brought up when the discussion of playing and being in a voice chat comes up. I am sure that my name will come up as well, which is a bummer, but also tough. Sorry. I do my best. But I did not know going into it today that my second cousin was gaming at all, because my cousin, his father stopped with video games a long time ago. When we were kids, we had Nintendo and we had Sega, and I don't think he might have gotten a PlayStation, but my two cousins were so into sports, and they were into like team sports. So like they didn't have time for video games at some point. Like they played them in the off season mostly, but they like I don't think either has ever owned an Xbox. This is not their thing. Maybe one of my cousins got an Xbox, but probably to have it as a media center. So like the fact that his kids aren't like gamers because their dad was a gamer makes a lot of sense to me. So the fact that he's picked up any video games, I was like, ooh, okay. All right. Which does also mean that I will be getting questions about video games for the next 10, 15 years. A long time I will be getting questions about video games. And that's fine. That's fine. But I definitely expect to get more and more questions. The nice thing is, none of his friends like Roblox. They just haven't gotten into it, and my cousin knows about Roblox because of his work. He like knows of that because he talks to a lot of parents for stuff. I'm not going to get into specifics of what he does, but he does talk to a lot of parents as part of his job. So he already knows that his kids will not be playing Roblox at all, which is great. I'm not sure if he understands gacha mechanics yet, but I'm probably going to have to talk to my cousin about gacha mechanics, in free-to-play stuff and the various trappings that come in there, because it's only a matter of time before he starts playing Fortnite. I did have to answer questions about Fortnite, and I did say that I only play Lego in Fortnite. I only play Lego Fortnite. I don't play the main mode of Fortnite. So I could only answer so many questions, which is true. It was just nice to see everybody. And like I said, I got to talk about some gaming stuff, and I was very happy about that. It would have been nice if my cousin, who is my age, a little older than me, had been into games through his whole life like I was, but that is not the case. I did age myself, as mentioned, that my cousin aged me, and I was feeling like dust because of that. But that's not totally fair, because I aged myself when I mentioned that I played World of Warcraft when it first came out. To which my youngest second cousin said, "Isn't that game very, very old?" And I had to say, yes, it is, because that's true. He was not wrong. World of Warcraft is a very old game. Oh. Yeah, so a little bit of filled with dust. I was watching clips of stuff that was coming out this year, because as many of you are aware, I think I'm done talking about that, so I'll jump on this other thing. This is about feeling like a real aged person. I was watching some clips because I'm just kind of getting into some VTuber stuff, some HoloLive stuff. So I was watching some like compilations, and there was a compilation where one of the VTubers felt very old because I don't know how old she is, but I know that the people she was talking to are very young, and definitely I don't think there's any VTubers out there that are my age, but there are some that are like, because they're like, one of them is Narissa Ravencroft, I don't think is my age, but I do think I know she has older siblings, so I think she's more aware of some stuff than like kids who are younger. Anyway, she was talking to some people, and she mentioned Scooby-Doo, and three of these seemingly incredibly young people were like, I don't know what that is. And she felt very old, and I felt like my bones were turning to dust. Now, should someone in their early 20s know who Scooby-Doo is? Yes. They shouldn't, but yes, please. There was the Mystery Machine one, the Mystery Gang, was it? That was like probably 15 years ago, or 10 years ago now? Probably 10 years ago. But the movies the animated movies kept coming out, and I guess kids don't just watch Cartoon Network and Boomerang because it's on anymore. I guess they don't. So you wouldn't know who Scooby-Doo is, but it made me feel decrepit. That like, because also you'd think that people whose gimmick is we are VTubers who are dogs, which is like a cartoon dog, would know about pop culture cartoon dogs. I don't know why I think that's true, but it rings true, right? Like if you were like, well, my day job is that I pretend that myself and my twin sister are demon dogs, then I would say that you should know about cartoon dogs. Mid-20s and late 20s will likely know because of Matthew Lillard movies, judging by coworkers I've had. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing, right? One of the people that didn't know who Scooby-Doo was, I was shocked because they know lots of memes. And like Ultra Instinct Shaggy is a meme. And I was like, well, maybe she only knows Ultra Instinct Shaggy and doesn't know what Shaggy is from. There's a buff Shaggy that was a meme, if you're unaware. And it looks like he's Ultra Instinct, like from Dragon Ball Super. And like, maybe she only knows that meme and doesn't know what the meme is from. And I'm like, okay, maybe. Probably not as much cartoons or reruns as they should be outside of Boomerang. Yeah, I guess so. I will say that 2000 teens Scooby-Doo show was really good. Anyway, I felt old in a way that I hadn't expected to. I generally feel old watching people who are like, making content who are far younger than me. When I recognize that I'm like, oh, I like this person. Oh, okay. They're 26. All right. Well, that's very young. That's an adult. That's an adult person. But okay. Or like I said, I don't know how old any VTuber is, because why would I have that information? because it would be fucking weird if I knew. Sorry. A couple of VTubers who are Japanese that just joined were former idols. And so that if I wanted to know, I could know how old they are because they are idols and we would know their date of birth. So if I really wanted to, I could find out how old some VTubers are. But one, I don't want to do that work because it's weird. And two, that doesn't help me with the English language VTubers that I'm paying attention to because I don't know how old they are. I could probably do the math and figure out how old one is because she got her start making content for making like songs and such about My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. So at least I know she is like of a age, but I don't know exactly how old she is. Like there's one of these I'm like, okay, I could kind of narrow it down from that because she would have had to be starting at some kind of age when that came out and do the math. But like, again, I don't know. All I know is some of these girls, I'm just like, okay, well, you are just probably very young and I need to stop thinking about that. And it is not a problem. It is just hey, it's me. I'm the problem. Doesn't help that WB is stripping as much out of it as Max. Yeah, that doesn't help things. That's very possible. For example, I know what The Simpsons is just because of memes. I've never seen it. Yeah, totally understand that you would. Bae, that you would not know The Simpsons because it's been on, but like, when's it last been culturally relevant? The movie? Probably, but it's just in pop culture and there are so many memes. Like, it makes total sense to me that you might be like, I know what steamed hams is, but I don't know what the Bartman is. Like, yeah, sure. Or, and what was the movie? Yeah, Simpsons movie. When did that come out? Yeah, the Simpsons movie came out in 2007. And that's when, and so a couple years before that movie, which would have been 2005, 2004, that's when The Simpsons really took a dip in quality because all of the writers for the show were working on the movie, or most of the writers of the show were in the movie, and those couple seasons were really bad. And that's when a lot of people who were still diehards finally checked out. And obviously, enough people still watch it because it's still on TV. There are still people who are watching it and into it, and it doesn't have to be the biggest numbers in the world, but there are still people who are like on board and into it because otherwise they would stop because it's expensive to make. Homer backing into a bush. Yes, there are memes out there that are Simpsons memes that like stand the test of time. No, it's the children who are wrong is a reaction meme for a lot of stuff. And so you do not need context for that. You could just be like, yes, this meme appeals to me and I understand what it's trying to convey. Like, yeah, the older guy walking to a bar and immediately turning around and leaving. Yes. Abe Simpson walking into a house of ill repute and discovering that his grandson is working the door and then leaving is a meme that's out there a lot. Yes, that is ever present. But I also understand why a lot of people would not have any connection to any of these memes or at all and have no idea why I would even mention them and all that stuff. But it's just like, yeah, I mean, I haven't watched I watched an episode of The Simpsons like a couple years ago because an old friend of mine who's been a writer for that show for like 10 years now played a character in the show. And so I watched that because I was like, oh, Christine's going to be on The Simpsons. That's fun. Nangle. I'm part of the Nang gang, so I'll check that out. Her last name is Nangle, and it was jokingly said that if you are a fan of hers, you're in the Nang gang. And that stuck. She said it as a joke, and people were like, actually, yes, I am part of the Nang gang. And I am part of the Nang gang, so of course I want to check out that. I want to support my friend. But that one episode is the first one I had watched in decade, and I have not watched one since. Yeah, just not something I really want to check out these days. The first 10 years is so good. There's so much good material for memes and references. Totally. And someday a newer episode might become a meme because people just goes viral and people haven't even seen the source material. It's like totally possible. I also think younger folks not having to watch live TV has changed things. Instead of everyone watching the same thing after school, they go and stream specific things they want to stream. Yes, I think appointment television is pretty much gone. And so it does leave people with just looking at the things that they have heard about. Whereas, hey, if you liked cartoons, The Simpsons was on every day after school at like 6 p.m. And so you could just watch old episodes of The Simpsons. If you weren't allowed to watch them at like 8 p.m. on a Sunday or 9 p.m. on a Sunday, you could watch them at 6 p.m. and then also at 6:30 p.m. And some stations had different episodes than other stations, because if you're going to watch TBS, you could watch an episode that's different from the Fox affiliate. Yeah, you can just do that. Now it's some weeks reruns of The Big Bang Theory have a higher viewing than at 7 p.m. Eastern than AEW Dynamite at 8 p.m. Eastern, a live wrestling show with good viewership. But some weeks, more people watch an old episode of The Big Bang Theory the hour before. And that's just that's what reruns are now, is episodes of The Big Bang Theory. It's like, yeah, all right, sure. And Friends still? TBS still shows Friends, and I guess it still does good enough to keep paying for Friends, I guess. I don't know. Alex Navarro mentioned this on a stream not long ago about younger folks not watching old movies anymore. Back in the day, people would watch a decade-old movie just because it was playing on HBO. Now the habit is looking up new stuff all the time. Yeah. There were a lot of movies I saw because they were the Sunday afternoon movie on what is now CW, then partially the WB. Before that, Channel 11. The New York station, which was on 11, Channel 11, which eventually became a WB affiliate and then later became CW. That station just showed movies on the weekends. And I watched those movies because I didn't want to watch football or baseball or whatever was on channels that I liked to look at, because we had cable, but I didn't have cable in my bedroom. So Channel 11 came in, or Channel 16 or Channel 9. So I had those. Eventually I had a cable box, but I just watched the channels that came in. And so I watched a lot of movies. Hey, I was probably in my early teens when I watched Kramer versus Kramer, which is not a movie that I would ever watch again. It's a fucking harrowing courtroom drama about family and divorce, and it's very well acted. I don't know why I watched it, but I did. And yeah, I don't think people get that anymore. Probably 6 to 10 hours of Simpsons every week from the mid-90s to mid-2000s at least. Yeah. There were a lot of movies I'd watched, but never saw the first 10 to 30 minutes of it until I got a DVD or saw it on streaming. Yes. I have watched The Shawshank Redemption many, many times. I have watched the last 30 minutes of The Shawshank Redemption like 100 times. Because sometimes you're just tuning in for something a little early and, ooh, Shawshank Redemption's on for another half hour. I'll watch that again. I have two options for the head. I am going with the commander one. If I was building multiple grunts, I would also do the standard. This is the standard head. I am using this head here, which is the commander head. As you can see, it does have an extra bump on it. That's, as far as I know, as far as I can tell, the only difference between the standard and the commander type. But we are doing the commander type. I'll keep the standard head around for whatever, I'll get rid of it later. But I'm pretty sure that is the only difference. So we're going to get that together. We're going to get this head together, and then we are going to panel line it. Doesn't need much, but I'll get a little bit here. And then we'll be able to move on. We're also done with the stickers. No more stickers needed. Rules. Not to use myself as an example again, but I understand. But they're really famous older movies like Die Hard or whatever that I've never seen. I know the name because people talk about it, but I never just watch movies on live TV. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I mean, like, hey, I'm not saying you gotta watch Die Hard. Die Hard's a pretty great action movie. Like, I'll say this, right? If you like a genre of movies, watching the most popular movies of that genre of different decades is interesting. It can be interesting. Am I saying you gotta go out and see Die Hard? No. But if you like action movies, or you've seen some Bruce Willis movies of the last 10 years, and you're like, well, this is an interesting guy. What was he like in the 90s? You can see what kind of acting roles he had when he was a leading man instead of an older man in some movies. But I'm not saying you gotta. I'm just saying you can if that's something that you're interested in something like that. If you want to see like comedy movies from the 90s and the 2000s to compare them to comedy movies that come out now. You're like, oh, 90s comedy movies are really raunchy. 2000s comedy movies are kind of raunchy, but also kind of just like whatever. 2010s comedies are like only romantic, really. There's some exceptions, but mostly that. They just like stopped making R-rated comedy movies, and then like Anchorman came out, and Anchorman and The Hangover, and and like that led to this, and that led to that, and there was this like generational shift there where like for a minute they were making raunchy comedies again, and that went away, and like you can kind of do that, and it's interesting in that way, but like my personal opinion is you don't have to. It's cool, but like, especially if you are interested in a genre or a subgenre, right? Like, I'm not saying like, hey, if you like mech anime, you gotta see the original Gundam, every episode in order from the original all through all the series. I'm not that kind of purist. I don't care about that shit. You watch whatever you want to watch, but like, there's some cool, weird 80s and 90s mech anime that might appeal to you and might be something that you want to track down if that's the kind of subgenre you like. If you like magical girl anime, hey, Cardcaptor Sakura is a good one of those. Sailor Moon is like the magical girl anime. You don't have to watch Magical Girl Pretty Sammy, which is just like a parody of those with characters from Tenchi Muyo, alternate reality versions of Tenchi Muyo characters. Like, you don't have to watch that. You don't have to be a completionist. But like, if you want to watch some Magical Girl shit and go like, why was this such a popular subgenre and style of anime? It's like, oh, because Sailor Moon's really fucking good. Sure, okay. Okay, yeah, you love, exactly. You love horror movies, so you get to see the different kinds of like grindhouse stuff, the experimental, the horny teen, where the horny teenager trope comes from, man versus nature, the era where horror movies had happy endings, the slasher genre, subgenre taking forth, and like the weird thing where they were like, Halloween, let's just do a different kind of movie. And then that didn't work out. And so they were like, all right, back to basics. This is now this kind of thing. Like the difference between the original Nightmare on Elm Street and then like Freddy versus Jason, right? Like if Freddy versus Jason is your first exposure to Freddy Krueger, that's a really different vibe. Or the new Nightmare, which is a meta commentary. Even like Scream, I think Scream is a standalone excellent movie to watch. Watching the movies that came out a decade and 2 decades before Scream adds context to it. It adds a whole other layers to it because Scream is a movie where the characters are aware of horror movies and horror movie tropes. And you as an audience member being aware of those tropes adds to it. But also, it's just like the first movie is just really well crafted with some good, practical effects. And so it's just like also just a movie that's fun to watch. There's a cool part of streaming services where they have a good supply of older movies and shows to see what the standards were back then and what changed. Yeah. I really enjoyed going through historical horror movies and also watching stuff like Bob Briggs' show where he watches older horror movies and talks about their impact. Yes. Because then you can get cultural touchstones, right? People that were alive for that, people that have stories from that. You mentioned Alex Navarro recently. Brad Shoemaker said a thing that really stuck with me, where he was like, he watched The Thing for the first time, and now he understands a lot of things from video games and movies. Because The Thing is a touchstone for a lot of... Because John Carpenter fucking rules, and that movie is awesome, but it's like, people have aped that and been inspired by that. And so it's like a missing link thing. Sometimes those movies, you're just like, oh, this has unlocked something for me. Like, I now have context for things, right? Like, imagine if the scene in Dogma where they throw a monster off the train and then Silent Bob says, no ticket. If that's the first time you've heard the phrase no ticket, when you see the movie it's actually from, you're like, oh shit. Like, what? Like, oh, that line was a reference to like Last Crusade. Holy shit. Like, oh, like it's this like, and maybe it won't mean anything to you. Maybe it won't mean anything to you that you have the context for that was a movie reference there. Like, maybe it's just like, oh, okay, I just thought that was the thing that was said in Dogma. Or you hear no ticket and you think that's where it's from, or something like that. Like, it doesn't mean anything, but it can mean something. IMDb Top 100 is usually a great list for historical movies that are worth checking out. For those that are out of the loop. Yeah, Brad asked Dan in one of the early Mario Party if Rocky was still enjoyable for people to watch then, which seems like something he'd watch and understand a lot of references. Yeah, I think like Rocky is another example of that. Like, Yo Adrian is a pop culture touchstone, but as we go in time, year over year, it becomes a touchstone and referenced in things. And if you don't have the scene, you don't know where it's from, then it's just like a thing that you know from, the universe and the world. Cultural impact really adds a lot of context and atmosphere. That's why I've never gone back and tried to watch Simpsons, Futurama, or any reference-heavy comedy, because I know I won't get the references. Yeah, so like, I will tell you as a kid that grew up with Looney Tunes reruns, sometimes that shit is just funny. You know what I mean? Like, there are characters in Looney Tunes who are references to, like, I did not know who the Marx Brothers were when I was a kid watching Looney Tunes reruns. These were just references I didn't get for a long time. But if it's good, it's still good. Like, Futurama is still going to be good. And The Simpsons is still going to be good even if you don't have the cultural touchstones. Like, yeah, maybe you have, like, the Arnold Schwarzenegger parody character isn't going to hit you super hard because you only know Arnold Schwarzenegger as the former governor of California, and you know that he's been in some movies and you know what the Terminator is, but like, you didn't see Kindergarten Cop. You don't remember, because you didn't experience when Arnold Schwarzenegger was in most movies. So maybe the Schwarzenegger pastiche in The Simpsons isn't going to hit for you. And that's totally fair. But I think like a lot of The Simpsons is just smart comedy and silly comedy done really well. The thing about The Simpsons that hasn't aged well is that on one salary, you can afford to have a stay-at-home mom and 3 kids in a nice house and have 2 cars on one family, like a 5 family with a cat and a dog in a nice house that you paid for on one person's salary, even if it is at a nuclear power plant. Like, to me, that is the bit of The Simpsons that like has not aged well and does not fit at all, more than anything else going on in The Simpsons, other than like maybe it looks old to you when you look at it. But I do think that, like, I understand, like, there's some things that are products of their time, and maybe they don't hit. Like, I don't think in 2024, almost 2025, weird. Like, I don't think The Goonies is gonna hit people, right? I just don't think that The Goonies is gonna hold up. For partially because it doesn't feel like I don't know this. I only know this from the world and how the world treats kids being outside and together. But like, that movie hinges on a bunch of kids going out and going on an adventure. And I don't think kids get to do that anymore, for good reason. But I don't think kids like leave the house in a group without telling anyone where they're going and then get into mischief. Like, I just don't think that happens. And that is like a fundamental element for that movie. So I just don't know if like anybody would be super into it. Besides all the parts that like have not aged well, depending on who you are. I didn't watch The Goonies until I was an adult, and it does not. Yeah, Lashbrook, I assume it does not hold up. John says, I saw Dinner with Andre the other day after watching the Simpsons joke from 28 years ago. Yes. Dinner with Andre, like, I don't think you need to see that movie to get the Simpsons joke, but I do think it's a very good joke if you've seen or at least understand what My Dinner with Andre is about, and then watch the joke from that, and The Critic. Now that's a show. Okay, so there we go. This is a good example. The Critic is really good. I don't think you can watch The Critic now for the first time without any concept of who John Lovitz is. If you don't know John Lovitz from SNL, watching a character that is basically just him, it's a very good show. But like, because it is a Siskel and Ebert style show, it's about a film critic. So the movie references they're making are modern and sometimes old, but like pretty modern. And I don't think that show would hold up without a lot of context. I watched My Dinner with Andre after the Community episode. Nice. Hi, Ghost Val. Yeah, I think The Critic is great. John Lovitz is such a specific style of humor in what he's good at. Yes, Lord Crashington, totally. But I just think that like that's such a specific thing that it would just ring so hollow for people that don't have the cultural lexicon for it. I also generally not enjoyed a lot of 80s and 90s humor when I've come across it and someone told me to watch it. Weird stuff like endless jokes about the difference between men and women, gay jokes, keeping the wife happy jokes. I just can't with all that. Yeah. So like, comedy is tough. Comedy is hard, period. Comedy out of context is incredibly difficult. Like the physical comedy, I think works. I think you can watch an episode of Mr. Bean. Rowan Atkinson fucking sucks, but I think you can watch an episode of Mr. Bean and just be like, "Oh, that was fun." A Jackie Chan comedy, because like obviously he had action in them, but there are some movies of his that are high on comedy. I think that physicality works. I think some of the like, maybe not Life of Brian. I'll jump ahead. Brain Candy. Brain Candy is a movie from Kids in the Hall, And it is surreal and weird and a fucking nightmare. And it was not a hit, and they just made it because they really wanted to make it. But like, sketch comedy that was done by Kids in the Hall, I think stands up. And they had they did like a sequel season for Amazon Prime not too long ago, where they're obviously way older. But I think like Kids in the Hall stands up because they're, one, it's very smart, and two, they're 5 fucking weirdos. Also, one of the first openly gay men in comedy, period, but also one of the first gay men in Canadian television, openly gay man in Canadian television, doing gay characters where the fact that he's gay is not the butt of is not the joke. Scott Thompson is just playing a gay character, and it's fucking incredible. Also, Kids in the Hall, Dave Foley plays a woman, a comedic, funny woman, better than most people in the world. But Dave Foley as like a mid-20s office worker woman is just unbelievable. Like, ridiculously good. The two Kathys, Kathy with a C and Kathy with an I. And it's just 2 office workers who are both named Kathy, played by 2 men. But that's not the joke. The joke is not that it's men playing women. There's probably stuff in Kids in the Hall that I am forgetting, doesn't hold up. They're bumbling cops that reoccur that I'm not the biggest fan of. But it fucking holds up. Yeah, Ace Ventura does not work at all. I don't think that Ace Ventura is a movie that works. I think clips of Ace Ventura work fine. Do Not Go In There is funny, and that scene is funny. But the joke, the quote-unquote joke of the end of Ace Ventura sucked when it came out and is unbelievably bullshit now. Oof. Oofa doofa. If Ace Ventura, like the script for Ace Ventura was tried to be made today, I mean, it would be even meaner than it is in then, because it was mean to be funny instead of mean to be mean. But it's no. No thanks. Austin Powers, the thing with Austin Powers is that, especially the second movie, is that Mike Myers understands that Austin Powers is a product of his time, and that's not a good thing. Like, a lot of it is, it's jokes, but there's also like a point where it's like, oh yeah, we're all being really fun about the groovy 60s and the 70s, because really when we talk about the 60s, we're talking about literally only 1 year of the 60s. We actually mean 1969 and like up until 73 or 74. When we talk about the 60s, we are not talking about 1962, because that's just the 50s. But whatever, that's a side point. But that is real. When we talk about the groovy 60s, we mean 1 year of the 60s. And then like some of the 70s, because disco and that kind of 70s is mid to late 70s. Cocaine is late 70s into the 80s, really. But yeah, the pastiche of Austin Powers is like, it does not work. His heart is in the right place, and he literally doesn't understand. Like, he reads a book about feminism, and it's not like, haha, check it out. Like, that's a poignant scene where it's supposed to be funny, but it's not supposed to be funny, haha. It's supposed to be funny, oh, this guy read a book and is now like, he watched the moon landing because he was getting caught up, and he read a book about feminism, and he's just like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, it's a really good gag that Austin Powers understands that he's a sexist asshole in context of the world he currently lives in. Like, he shows growth in a montage, and that's a really good gag. And then there's a bunch of stuff that's not great, and robot girls, and a bunch of stuff that probably hasn't aged well that I can't even remember. But the joke of him, like, growing as a person in a montage from learning about what's happened since he's been frozen is great. Oh yeah, Fat Bastard's definitely not going to hold up. No, 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 no. A lot of mini-me jokes aren't going to hold up. That's going to be real bad. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of stuff that doesn't work. I mean, hey, let's not forget that as a quote-unquote joke, they got a guy doing an Indian accent in that movie who is not Indian. Because that happened a lot in movies of that era and that time. Not in that era, but also of the time that they're parodying. So they got Will Ferrell doing an Indian voice, and that ain't great. But also, yes, because Short Circuit, but also British people played Indian men in movies of like James Bond era movies. So like, yeah. It doesn't quite work. Love Guru. Yes, Mike Myers did the Love Guru, which I've still never seen. And I have a friend in that movie. Friend Rob is in that movie. And I still never seen it because it looked so bad. And I knew what was going on with Mike Myers at that period. He was in a real bad place. So I was like, oh, I'm never going to see that movie. I'm glad. I've never seen that movie. The Hangover. God. Yeah. Yeah, there's some shit in The Hangover that's real bad. Just like real not great. It happens. Unfortunately, it happens quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, it's just the premise is so apparently they didn't have a script for that movie. Mike Myers had come up with the character literally in an improv scene, and then he did a show where he played that character at like sketch prov, where he had like a premise and he was just kind of like freewheeling, and they wrote the script based on improv that he had been doing as the character, and that's bad for a character like that. But the fact that people gave him money to make that movie, it probably wasn't that expensive, but still, that movie shouldn't have been made. I didn't talk about World's End. I'll probably talk about that on Thursday because I watched that pay-per-view, but we won't get to that tonight. But we'll talk about it on Thursday because I will need things to talk about on Thursday. There'll be news that I need to talk about because there won't be news this week. The two news items I had that were gaming news items are just like, hey, one video game sold a lot of copies this year, even though it's old, and a studio, a company is branching out, and they added another studio to make more games. That's video games. So what's happening right now, Pat? Why aren't we in the overhead camera? Why are we talking about this? Well, because this is the pause for the cause. Now, I'm going to tell you, and all of you, ways that you can support what I do here. And everything I'm about to talk to you is optional. This is just my opportunity to remind you that you can, if you wanted to, support me financially. Now, obviously, you don't have to, but there are various ways you can. And I'm going to talk about them. First and foremost, if you're currently a subscriber to the Build with Bear Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 Blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support me because you're already here on Twitch. You can use your Prime Gaming token. If you Amazon link with your Twitch, you get that token. You can use it for anybody. If you want to use it for me, you can. It would be great. But if you do have those, you should use it for somebody. Cash money if you wanted to. There is a promotion going on right now. If you would like to save some money, as your first time subscriber to this channel, you can save 25% off. And then it goes up if you want to do multi-month. Every 5 gifted subs purchase of the channel, Valorant will add at least 1 bonus gift sub. Valorant has gifted me 2 gift subs. That lasts until January 2nd. So today and tomorrow on the streams that I do, because I won't do anything on the 1st, and it'll be over before I stream on the 2nd, which will be my first stream of 2025. Anyway, bits and coins also always appreciated. If you want to do that, you want to join the gift leader or a cheerleader board, I should say. But yeah, if you want to get some subs, you could do that. There are, again, other ways to support me. I'll try to get through this as quickly as I can, but I do want to talk about this. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. Over my Patreon, there's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for the different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. This is an option you got if you wanted to. I have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/PatBaer. Over on my YouTube channel, you can subscribe for free, of course. Hey, Mjon just gifted 10 subs, which is incredible. And Valorant kicked in some more subs as well. So thank you very much. And enjoy those gift subs to Space Beast, Kabu Dabu, Dustria, John William, Bots to Beats, Drumilio, Skyper Justin or Spicy, Snuffy McGee, Appman1, Wuju Bobo, and Rejizzle. Enjoy all of those gifted subs. Thank you so much. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site tier 2 blue emote in the chat so we can thank Mjon. And yes, Valorant gave out 2 gifted subs, which is really nice. And thank you to the person that just joined my Patreon. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for joining the Patreon. I just got an email about what you did, and I appreciate that. But yeah, enjoy those gift subs. I have a YouTube channel. Speaking of subs, subscribing there is free. If you want to become a member, it's just $2 a month there, and you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So if you gotta know, like, if you want to know, Pat, what's the first video for Kuma Baer that will come out this Wednesday, which is January 1st. I really want to know what the first video is. Well, you'll be able to see that tomorrow. So that's cool. If you become a member on my YouTube, that's kind of cool. Those are monthly ways to support me. If you would like to support me for, cash money on occasion, you could do that, like, a tip jar. I've got a Ko-Fi and a PayPal for direct donations, and everything I make through direct donations. Beifu just cheered 1,000 bits. Thank you so much for the bits. Cha-ching. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. That's very kind of you. Welcome to the gift sub, or the cheerleader board. But yeah, so everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund, and I buy model kits for that. I bought this Graze standard command type. I saw that it was on sale and went, wait, that's an Iron-Blooded Orphans kit that I've never built. I thought I built all of the Iron-Blooded Orphans kits, but I never built this one. And I double-checked, and I haven't. So I bought it so that I can build it here on stream. I have a backlog full of fun stuff, including a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle that I got as a Christmas gift. Oh boy, I don't know how I'm going to build that thing. But I've got a bunch of stuff that I would love to build. Now, if you want to decide what I build next, if you want to get me a New Year's gift, you could go to my Amazon wish list and buy something there. Anything purchased on my wish list jumps the queue, becomes the next thing that I build. Get a dedicated YouTube video about it, and then, yeah, it just goes up on there. I got a variety of things here on the wish list. Inexpensive kits, expensive kits, kits with free shipping, kits without free shipping, kits with, like, free shipping for free delivery for Prime members. All kinds of different things. Inexpensive, expensive, some gear, all kinds of stuff. If you see something there you'd like to see me build, you could purchase that there, and then, it'll come in the mail and I'll put it together. I want to say that somebody bought me the jigsaw, didn't they? Somebody bought me the Magic the Gathering jigsaw puzzle, didn't they? Yes, they did. So I do know that at some point I am going to be building a jigsaw puzzle, because someone purchased for me, I don't know who, but somebody purchased the Magic the Gathering Artifacts 500-piece MTG puzzle, jigsaw puzzle. So that is something that I'm building in the future. Oh boy. And also a little Lego set, which is neat. But thank you to the person who did that. But yeah, when those arrive, I'll make a dedicated YouTube video about those things, and then they will jump the queue and be the next thing that I built. And since they're coming, I won't put, when I do my next, like, hey, what should I build? I won't include stuff that I just don't want to build soon. That other big jigsaw puzzle. It's so random. I added a jigsaw puzzle to my wish list for the first time in years, and also then got another jigsaw puzzle. That's just wild. if you're like, Pat, I would like to buy something for you to build, but I don't want to go through Amazon. Well, I have Throne. That is my alternative wish list. If you want to go over to the Throne, you could do that. I have to update that. It's been a hot minute. I believe at least one thing on my list is no longer available, so I will update that. And then the most convoluted way to support me financially, if you're so inclined, is to go to USA Gundam Store. At USA Gundam Store, you could buy a gift card. And then they will send you an email with that gift card code. Then you can send me a whisper on Twitch or a DM on Twitter or Blue Sky or Mastodon with that gift card code. And I will use that gift card code to buy a model kit from USA Gundam Store. Again, people have done this. More people have done that than buy something on Throne, which is a legitimate business website. It's just wild. All right, a couple more things to mention, then we'll get back to building, and I'm going to talk about an anime that I finally got to finish. I have a Discord. You can join my Discord if you want to support me and not spend any money. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. The Discord is lovely, and we'd love to have you there. Let's see. Couple of video links for you to check out. The most recent episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club that I put up last Monday is my episode where I give you my top 10 anime for 2024. And I talk about in that video my honorable mention where the last two episodes didn't come out until after I was done recording that video because there was some production problems. Those two video episodes have come out, so it can go on my next year's video, maybe, and it might. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series, where every week I give a 1-minute video where I recommend an anime. December was 90s month, so I recommended Sailor Moon. So there's a video of me talking about Sailor Moon. And tomorrow, the theme, well, I'll tell you the theme for January, which the new video will come out tomorrow for some people, and then Wednesday for everybody else. I talk about my favorite shows from the fall 2024 season. Okay, so our hype train is done. We had a level 4 hype train, which is great. And I got a choo-choo emote. Thank you very much for everybody that gifted subs and cheered. It's very kind of you. Appreciate it. Okay, one last thing that I will share with you, and then we'll get back to building here, is, hey, I need to tell you about, I got a poll going. I got a Google poll going, and you can go and vote on it. Vote on what expensive model kit that I should be buying. For context, I get gift cards and generally Amazon gift cards, but also sometimes like, here's $50 on a Visa prepaid card or something. I get those. I collect them. And then around Christmas. And then I do a poll where I put incredibly expensive kits that I would never think of buying on their own because I would balk at how expensive they are. And then I let people vote on what I should purchase of that expensive kit. So that is a poll. You can do that. If you want me to get the Zaku Warrior live concert version, which right now, most people want me to get the Black Knight Squad Calria, which has gone down in price on Amazon, I see. So it might end up dropping enough that I'll just get it. And the RX-783 G3 Master Grade. The Zaku Warrior is going to win. The poll is running until Thursday because I wanted to keep it up for a week. But that's going to win. There's no way that's... A lot of people would have to vote for something else for that to lose. And I don't think that... I mean, I guess people could do a coordinated effort, but I think it's pretty clear. But I still said it would run for weeks. It's going to run for a week. Okay. I have an anime to talk to you about. Before I get into this anime and talking about all that, we need to, I need to drink some water. And we need to transition back to the overhead camera so that I can continue working on the right arm. And we're going to do all that right now. All right. John wants me to hit the dance button. If you're new to the streams, for channel points, one of the things we can do for channel points is I will hit a dance button. This is vaguely Christmassy music. for the month, but it's all music that won't get me any kind of DMCA or anything like that. So here we go. Enjoy this dance music. This is like island time Christmas music. But also would be playing in a very inexpensive, not Hallmark. This is not a Hallmark song. This would be on a, like, I don't know, maybe a Lifetime one, Hallmark Channel, probably not. Netflix, you know, trying to save some money. In a series of Christmas movies that all take place in the same house. This is like the 8th movie of that. But thank you for using your channel points from John. There'll be a new song on January 2nd. Because there's a new piece of music every month. Okay. So let's keep working on this kit here. We did the shoulder, now we're going to move the arm. So we are going to talk about an anime. I'm going to give you a brief overview about this, and then we'll get deep into it. I didn't update that, so we'll just copy and paste here. We are going to be talking about Netflix's Hallmark style Christmas movies. Indeed, we're going to talk about an anime called "Whisper Me a Love Song," which is on HIDIVE. I re-bumped my HIDIVE because there was nothing this past season that I wanted to watch. So I re-bumped up HIDIVE because I really wanted to watch the rest of the series. Episode 1 of Whisper Me a Love Song aired on, I'm looking at, I wrote some notes down so I could talk about this. Episode 1 of this show aired on April 14th, 2024. Episodes 11 and 10 of this show aired on December 29th, 2024. What happened? Well, a lot of fucking problems in the studio. There was some illness. There was a lot of creative differences. This was a joint venture by Cloud Hearts and Yokohama Animation Laboratory. The director of the series literally stepped down before the first episode aired. So they had a replacement. They ran out of maybe the budget on it. And then people were kind of worried that maybe it would never come out. Now, obviously, there's a big gap between the two. They did get the last 2 episodes. But originally, the show was supposed to air in January of 2024. So it got pushed immediately. I did a bunch of research in here trying to figure out what went wrong here. Some of the middle episodes don't look that great. Episodes 11 and 12 do look good, at least. So I'll give them that. Yeah, and eventually the remaining 2 episodes came out at the end of the year. So they did finish the story. They did finish the fight. And the last 2 episodes were solid. So what is Whisper Me a Love Song about, Pat? What are we talking about here when we talk about this show? Well, Whisper Me a Love Song premise is that there is a girl, and she is very good at music and singing guitar. And she is approached by another girl who is like, hey, I fell in love with your music and you. And that is Himari. And Yori, the girl who played the music, is just like, no one's ever confessed to me, but you seem rad. Okay. And then Himari is like, oh, I'm sorry. You misunderstood what I said. That's my fault. No, I fell in love with your music, not you. And Yori's like, oh yeah? Well, I'll make you well, I thought about dating you and I didn't understand that. So what if we just hang out and I get you to fall in love with me for real and not just my voice? What if you actually just fall in love with me? And that's the main plot of the show. Now, there's other stuff going on where there's some like, this girl left the group. She's actually probably in love with Yori. Another girl is in love with that girl. Another girl is in love with Yori. And that is unrequited love. That Himari is in the cooking club with people who are in another band, that there's a rival band because of the love triangles, and there's a lot more going on. So it's a simple premise that I always thought was really fun, and then other stuff happening. And then when I say that when I talk about the show, I do need to stress this is not with context. This is not subtext. This is a gay story. These are gay women in high school who are dating each other and in love with each other. This is a Yuri girls love story. This is not at all in any way, shape, or form just like a show with a bunch of girls and you make your own conclusions. Like, say, the one about voice actors that was also this year that was solid. That show was probably gay, but wasn't, oh, this show is gay. Or like, Laid Back Camp is probably gay, but it's like not, but like, come on, a couple of those girls are going to get married in the future. Like, come on. Multiples of those girls are going to get married in the future. But this one is explicitly like, nah, this is about young ladies who are gay for each other, figuring this shit out. So, again, highs and lows, twists and turns. The music starts really strong and becomes less kind of important to the story as we get into the drama. Also, as the middle of the series happens and they run out of money and they're also having trouble getting times, it doesn't look particularly great. And the music suffers because of that. Voice acting is always strong in it. The writing is really strong. It's some like big time feels and good drama happening in it. But again, it does suffer a bit because they clearly had budgetary issues while they were making it. Because again, episodes 11 and 12 just got delayed indefinitely, and then it came out months later. Let's see. The introduced the one. She was on Wazaki or Heartbreak. So we have the band here. We have a conflict there. People are gonna stop the episodes 11 and 12. I'll just give you a brief summary, kind of the wrap up, and I'll give you my overall thoughts as it wraps up. We have some characters saying, like, after the school festival, like, I'm gonna completely break ties with this girl that clearly we had some issues with, and I'm gonna move on. We get a chance for Yori and Shiho to talk to each other, which is very important. These two characters really needed to talk to one another. Shiho finally admits, or Aki is just like, I would just like it if you and I became friends again. And Shiho, to her credit, is like, I was in love with you. And you didn't get it. And I'm not over you. And we get to see her sing a song. The end of the episode is her like singing a goodbye song to like lost love as she like kind of finally starts moving on. And this is a character who like initially sucked ass, like character-wise, like the character itself was supposed to be someone that we were like, why is this girl such a fucking bitch about everything? And then you have context for it and you're like, oh yeah, all right, okay, I get it. I still don't necessarily like you as a character, but I get why I get what led you to be this way and why you are in your feels this way, and why the idea of the girl who seemingly was not gay and did not love you is now has a girl that she barely knows and is in love with this girl. Like, I totally get why things didn't fucking work out there. And there's some other stuff that I'm not super getting into right now, but like, a lot of this just makes fucking sense to me. I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I get where we're going here. So this is supposed to snap in, and it didn't. So this piece is supposed to snap into here. There it is. I heard that there was the snap. It didn't want to snap. And I was like, I don't know why that's happening. Now I do know why. We're almost done with this arm, then we'll panel line it, and then we'll keep going. So that's the episode 11. Episode 12, let's see, D236 is one of the hands here. So episode 12. Aki finds out that Chiho had feelings for her. She's feeling really weird. But she's like, how can I be with her? Like, while I also have feelings for Yori. And it's just like, what's going on here? Again, this is the B story, which is like still really fucking solid. It was characters that I wasn't super deeply invested in, but like, yeah, all right, this is stuff that I'm into. I need a one over here. Yori helps kind of confirm some feelings. The SS Girls, which is the band they're in, they're going to be performing. Shiho goes missing, and Himari grabs Shiho and brings her in, and they have their performance. Aki tells Shiho, like, hey, I've fucking processed my feelings for Yori, and I'm ready for us to try to figure something out. I'd like to start over. And then she starts singing a song the two of them used to play together. And it's lovely. So Shiho makes up with Aki and says that, like, someday I would like us to be more than friends. And then the last few moments of the episode, the last little chunk of the episode, are our main characters, Himari and Yori, hanging out and reconfirming their feelings for one another, and that's how the series ends. So, I will say this. The Yori and Himari stuff felt like it ended too quickly. I'm glad it wasn't the whole story was like, can these two girls who are like, maybe not actually like super in love with each other, but like figuring it out along the way, can they make this shit work? I thought that was great. I don't know if that's 12 episodes worth. It took me a while to get into the B story of Shiho and Aki, because I think if we had known earlier on that Aki was in love with Yori, it would have been a more interesting part of the story, but that wasn't the case. It just took a while and kind of... So overall, I think that the B plot was good. It just kind of came... It felt like maybe these stories should have been simultaneously happening instead of like, oh, now that this is solved, we got to deal with the other problem in this series. Like finding out that this girl who's kind of a fucking bitch used to be in a band with Yori made so much fucking sense that I was like, this shouldn't be a late reveal. This should be like the fucking plot of this thing. I don't know. So overall, I recommend Whisper Me a Love Song. If episodes 11 and 12 had come out before my cutoff, I can't say for sure that it would have made my top 10 for 2024, but it would have been in the conversation. It would have been harder for me to, like, I don't know what bumps out, what it replaces, but it would have been a discussion that I would be having with myself, where to put it. Again, episodes 11 and 12 came out on the 29th. This last Monday, December 22nd, I put out, or December 23rd, I should say, I put out my top 10 list. So if I had waited until January, maybe it would have ended up there. But that's what happens. It's eligible for next year. So it could. And unlike Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, whose last 3 episodes aired in December, right at the end of the year, I like Whisper Me a Love Song, and I think the last 2 episodes are good. The last 2 episodes, I think, are very solid and really work with the series. Did I put the wrong part in there? No, I'm okay. D2 44 and D2 39. I'm all right. Everything's okay. I thought I was confused. I thought I messed up a part, but I didn't. I was just confused about it. So that's Whisper Me a Love Song. I do recommend it. It's on HIDIVE. Again, I got HIDIVE. I honestly really do hope that there's something, and I'll know more tomorrow. I really do hope there's something next month that's on HIDIVE that I want to watch, because I do want to check it out. Okay, so the first show, yeah, will be up next week. Bogus Skill is airing next week. Bonus Skill was supposed to start airing in like 10 hours, the first episode, and that got pushed back a week. So the first show that's actually airing is of this new season is airing in a day and a half. Headhunted to Another World from Salaryman to Big Four is the first show, and then and also possibly the greatest alchemist of all time, and Ameku MD. So actually, usually there's like a week in between some anime of the fall season and the winter season. We're not getting that this year. Shit's just fucking starting, which is cool. But also, like, my recommendation thing will be coming out, like, several shows have already had the first episode by the time that airs, which is makes it a little outdated. But it's always the issue, right? When I make that series, it's always like, well, do I put this out when I haven't finished watching all the shows of one season before the next season comes out? Or do I put it out when some shows have already started air? And I think, like, it's totally fine to just be a little outdated on, like I'm saying, like, when I say stuff like, at the time of this recording, we don't know what, like, if anyone has picked this up. Because, there's always a couple shows that don't get picked up. Most shows do, but there's always a couple shows that don't get picked up and there aren't out there. And you're just like, okay, I don't know when this is going to air. Or who's going to pick this up, or if anyone's going to pick this up. Because, like I said, it does happen where shows don't get picked up at all. Because not everybody announces their entire slate. Crunchyroll doesn't announce. They announce the stuff that they have, like, marketing deals with, and then the stuff they just license that just comes out, and you're like, oh, okay, that ended up on Crunchyroll. All right, that's good to know. Netflix often has a hand in productions of things, and you actually don't even hear that a certain show is actually going to be on Hulu as well as that, and as well as the other things. Like, those things just happen. It's it's just like part of it. Now is the part of the stream where I want to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you up to? What are you into? I always like hearing from you about what you got going on. So this is the good time to do that. Please let me know. Let me look at this. This has got to be... This looks like that. That looks like that. Okay, sorry. I did this already, but I still don't remember how this goes in, so I have to look at it pretty right now. But yeah, I want to hear from you. What are you watching? What are you into? Seeing movies or reading anything? Watching anything? Playing any video games? I already mentioned Marvel Rivals. I've been playing that, and it's really fun right now because there were a lot of noobs. And so my crew was having a really good time hanging out and playing against some people in Marvel Rivals. We were winning a lot, and that's definitely why, which is okay, because it was fun. It was very fun to do. So we had a good time with that. I've been playing Hearthstone. I got a new deck that is it is a deck that buffs. It makes buff cards cheaper, and then you buff one card really highly, and suddenly it is very strong, and then you OTK your opponent. And when it works, it's great. It doesn't work all the time, but it's very silly. I don't think I'm going to keep playing it, but it was fun to play a few games of it. But I don't think it's going to go into my constant rotation of decks that I really like playing. I got to do a Hearthstone stream at some point, because I haven't streamed Hearthstone in a while, and I like streaming that game. So I'll have to do that soon. Also, the last time I streamed Hearthstone, maybe I don't want to do it again, because last time I streamed Hearthstone, I won a lot. I had a really good luck that stream. It was wild how well I was doing. So yeah, Hearthstone. That yesterday I did some. I did a game of ongoing game of Fiasco with some friends. that were part of my last D&D crew, but now we're just playing that. That was really good. That's a good time. Really fun people. We got a couple people in there who are not actors in any way, shape, or form, and the idea of doing improv terrifies them. And so we're taking it slow and being very silly with our game, and I think that has been really a really good way to go about it. And also, I like Fiasco because I can run it, but also I'm in it, so it's not like GMing or DMing. Where you have to be focused on the story. Like, I am focused on the story, and I'm focused on, like, guiding people along things and moving things and doing with dice and all that. But also, I get to be completely ridiculous and play a character as well, or multiple characters if need be, and that is still just fucking fun. It's just very fun. So I'm enjoying that. Watching things, again, no new shows have started. One new show was supposed to start, but it got pushed back a week, which is fine. But I will be watching some new shows as they air this weekend. So Thursday, I might by Thursday have the first show that I want to talk to you about. I don't know for sure. I won't know until probably Thursday if any of these shows are shows that I want to cover. Because as always, friends, I watch way more shows than I talk about on a weekly basis. I usually just pick like 1 to 2 per stream that I want to chat with you about. So I kind of need to wait until we get closer so I can start figuring out what are the shows that I want to cover. But those are coming. Look out. Now I'm going to read what y'all been writing, because it's always good to see what y'all been writing. Lord Crashton says, I started Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth with this PS Plus trial, and I sure was not expecting the first big bad was a VTuber. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with all the beats of Infinite Wealth, but like, yeah, there's a lot going on in that that particular game. A lot of stuff's happening in that one. A lot of things and things. All right, we need to put this on the outside. I started playing the Prince of Persia Lost Crown game. So far, it's fantastic. Says just another spicy. I rewatched season 1 of Severance. Season 2 is out next month. It's so damn good. Yeah, I gotta watch all of Severance when it comes out, or season 2, I should say. Very hyped for more Severance. What a great fucking cast, great writing, great cinematography. That is just an exceptional series, so I do want to see more of that. Hell yeah. Shout out to Zach Cherry, holding it down, being fucking an incredibly funny, weird performer, doing cool shit. Love you, Zach. Zach is just a great guy, and also, he's the guy in the Spider-Man movie that says, hey, Spider-Man, do a flip. And he goes, yeah. And then they put him in he's in another movie, another Marvel movie, where he watches a BART train or a bus, I can't remember, but a fight on a train. And he's in the background watching the fight. And it's very silly that he's there. And in both those scenes, he's with an old man who's holding a boombox. And that's the punk from The Voyage Home, the time travel Star Trek movie that is playing punk music that gets put to sleep by Spock. That's the guy. That guy's just in a couple Marvel movies as the same character for no fucking reason. And it's great. And it's for nobody. But it's awesome. Yes, Shang-Chi, Ghost Val. Thank you. I could not remember what Marvel movie, but Zach is in there being fucking great. Zach Cherry rules. Lastbrick says, I managed to get around the broken part that was stopping me from playing KOTOR. Oh, nice. So I've been playing a lot of that and watching the show Evil. It's gotten a lot better once it stopped focusing so much on Monster of the Week style chases. Okay, or cases. Yeah, I have not seen anything about Evil. I do not know anything about the show Evil, but I hope you're having a good time with the show, and I'm glad it's getting better and you're having more fun with it. I'm still playing. Ghostval says I'm still playing PoE 2 as my downtime game. Kind of been pretty low energy for a bit, so not much else. Okay, Ghostval. Hey, it's those winter doldrums. It's that end of the year, right? It's that. The Christmas creep is gone. We're in just like Is it the next year stuff? The holiday taint, as it were. Because it taint Christmas, but it taint New Year's either. It's a weird time. So yeah, I understand. Sometimes you just get low energy. Laura Crash says, watch the Netflix disaster miniseries called La Palma. Ooh, I've heard of that, but I have not seen it myself. That's about a volcano island in the Canary Islands where scientists think could potentially have a disaster at some point, where the volcano erupts and destroys itself, sending a huge rock the size of Manhattan into the ocean to cause a huge tsunami all around the Atlantic Ocean. Some fun deduction going on in it for 4 episodes. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I would watch that, but it sounds interesting. I just don't know if it would be leisure time viewing for me. But it sounds pretty cool. Especially with January, I will be busy this month watching a bunch of anime to see what I want to watch consistently or what I watch for fun. Like Ari Fuerta, I haven't finished yet because it's actually, the season started late and so it's going to go on into the next season. But like, I don't know, I think I'm like 4 episodes behind on that because I don't need to watch that. Spirit Chronicles, Gensoku Tensei, I'm way behind on that one because I haven't really liked the season. But I believe very recently, towards the end, the main character got to kick the ass of a guy he really wanted to kick the ass of. So I was psyched to hear about that for family reasons. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go back and watch that. I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I'll finish that series because it's just fine. Lesper says, I think I mentioned I beat Harmony of Dissonance. Yes, but you were excited to start Aria of Sorrow, and you're digging it a lot so far. I get the hype. Yes, Aria of Sorrow fucking rules, and yeah, Harmony of Dissonance was not my favorite at the time. I have not played it in a long time, but yes, yeah, you're playing a good one. So good luck with that, Lashbrook. I hope you have a good time. All right, we are done with the top of this kit. We have finished all of the stickers that we need to put on here. Now all we have is the legs and the waist and then the backpack part and the weapons. I don't know if I'll finish this on Thursday, but I'll get very close to finishing it on Thursday. Oh, and also, some of these parts can come off and go on our Barbatos, which is a weird thing, but they can do that, which is kind of neat. It's in the anime. But yeah, we got the weapons to build. One weapon is already built. It's just the axe. They go on, that's okay, which is fun. And then the gun we got to put together, and that's a few pieces. I think we'll probably finish this kit during Thursday's stream. I will not be doing another poll about what I should build next because, well, I guess I need to do one in case the items that someone bought off my Amazon wishlist don't arrive before Thursday, because you never know. So I guess I do need to do a poll. So probably on on New Year's Day, on that Wednesday, I'll probably do another poll for my $10 patrons, the first poll of the year, about what I should build next. I'll probably do that because, again, I don't necessarily think I'm going to finish this, and also stuff on the wish list takes priority, but like, there's a chance I might finish it during the stream, and then I need something else to build, and that new stuff might not have arrived. You get it. You get what I'm saying. And thank you again to the person who bought that. I don't know who did it, but somebody did. They bought some stuff. And I'll just do like 2 things. I'll do a poll of like, which one do I build first, patrons? But yeah, I got to do a poll on Wednesday to see what I build next. I'll do a New Year's Day poll. That'll be fun. And then if I do a poll and then stuff comes in the mail and that becomes the next thing I build, then whatever wins the poll will get built directly after that stuff. And that's how I handle that, which happens on occasion. This stuff generally doesn't happen too often because people aren't constantly buying stuff on my wish list, which is great. Usually it arrives while I'm already in the middle of something, so it takes a little while before I can build it anyway. I'm not saying don't buy stuff from my wish list. I'm definitely not saying that. See if there's anything else I need to talk about here. I don't think so. Again, a reminder, my stream tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, the first bunch of time of that. It'll be a 3-hour stream. We're going to ring in the new year together. The beginning of the stream will be Pat Bear's Anime Club, talking about the fall season that was and the winter season that is beginning. So we'll talk about that stuff, and then we'll get into, we'll have some time. We'll look at some tier maker lists. I think I will tell you one of the tier maker lists that we'll be looking at. Like the first one we'll look at, I'll tell you that now as a tease to encourage you to come hang out and ring in the new year with me, your friend Pat. Let me see. Let me look at my tier maker list here. Yes. There is a list called the Mario Pirated Bootleg Games Tier Ranking List. And it is a list of a bunch of icons of Mario from a bunch of bootleg and fan-made Mario games. And we are going to answer the question, is that Mario? Is that not Mario? And is that better than Mario? Because a few of these are definitely like, that's not Mario, but that's better than Mario. And some of these are definitely not Mario at all, and I don't know what they are. Now, I don't know what each of them is game for, or is it Mario? Yeah, so, no, because Mario is Mario. I think that makes sense. But a couple of these, I'm like, that's not, I don't know what that fucking supposed to be, but that's better than Mario. And some of these I'm looking at them going, well, that's like, yeah, that's definitely, that's a Mario right there. I'm looking at this one guy, and he's supposed to be a parody of Dr. Mario, but like, that ain't fucking Mario. There's one guy that's definitely Fred Flintstone. I'm like, get that fucking guy out of here. There's one guy in here that just looks like a kid. He just looks like a guy, like a young boy. And I'm like, get that, what the fuck? That's not Mario. One of these kind of looks like Mario if Mario was also Homer Simpson. Like, I don't know. So that's like the first thing we're going to do, where I'm just like, what? We'll do that one. I got some Nicktoons. I got some Persona 4 Personas. I got some Gen 1 Pokemon to look at. We got some stuff that we can do tomorrow. We got some tier maker lists with tomorrow night as we get ready for the new year. And then, of course, we'll celebrate the new year together tomorrow night. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Don't you remember when we used to have fun? It'll be nice. And then I'll talk so much about anime tomorrow. Talk about the new shows that are coming out. Talk about the shows that are already out. It'll be a good time. Or the last season. All kinds of stuff. There's some good stuff. Often winter can sometimes be a fucking banger. Spring is always a banger. Spring is always full of just the best shit. Sometimes the winter season really sneaks up on you, and it's got some real good stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. Lord Crash says, I've been enjoying the Simpsons meme recently of that one scene where Homer's waking up Bart to warn him about something, and his audio changed to some wild music or something. Oh, yeah. That is when Homer is trying to warn Bart and not freak him out, but in the process freaks him the fuck out. And then, yes, some people like change what Homer is saying to make it weird. I have seen this meme. I am aware of this meme. I'm not always up on all of the memes these days, but I do see some memes, folks, okay? Don't worry about it. I get it. Eventually I do get it. I can be isolated in my bullshit, but I occasionally do see the memes and I do know what the memes are. It's important to stay somewhat culturally relevant as I get older, because I am in this business. Eventually, there will become a point in time where I am doing things where I don't need to know shit. Like, there will come a time where I'm just like, oh, did that come out? And I will have no awareness of anything, and I will just be blissfully unaware. I will be like looking at my streaming service and see Sonic 6, and I'll be like, oh, I didn't know Sonic 6 came. Wait, did I even see Sonic 5? And it will just be like, not a big deal. Someday that will happen. That day is not today. I am at least cold. I have not seen Sonic 3. I will see Sonic 3. I will see the third Sonic movie. I do want to see Keanu Reeves' Shadow. That is a thing that I do want to see, and so I will make sure that I see that. And I want to support Ben, and I like the first 2 movies, so I do want to see that one. I still haven't seen Knuckles, which is a shame. I should see Knuckles at some point. I've heard it's not great, but I should see it at some point because my bros, people I knew were in there, so doing stuff in that. So I kind of want to see it, but I don't know. Haven't yet. Haven't seen Knuckles, the short series there, but I will at some point. I did not pull the I Know Sonic card with my cousins. They are aware that I know voice actors and things, and they are at least aware that people play characters. But I did not pull the, did you know that I know the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog? Yeah. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Did you know? Hey, did you know that I know Sonic the Hedgehog very well? I didn't pull that card out. It's like, yeah, that's Ben. He's a voice actor in a lot of things and very fun. He does a touring improv show you shouldn't go to because you're too young. And your dad would be mad, and mom would be mad if I told you about it. Don't Google it to find the one he uploaded to YouTube. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Dad would be very upset with me if I let them know that Ben Schwartz has like content on the internet they should check out. Nope. I'd get in trouble. That's going to do it for tonight's stream. I want to thank you, all of you, for watching. If you watched 5 minutes tonight, if you watched a year of it, you just been watching so many streams. You'd enjoy Jeff talking last week about how the games are a minor footnote in the popularity of Sonic the Hedgehog these days. Yes, if you compare the people that watch cartoons of Sonic the Hedgehog or movies of Sonic the Hedgehog or live actions of Sonic the Hedgehog and compare those to people that played the video games of Sonic the Hedgehog culturally right now, it ain't about the video games. And that fucking includes Sonic and Mario at the Olympics. Even taking those games into account. It ain't about the games. All right, that's it. We're not going to talk about Sonic anymore for now. Hey, thanks for being here. That is the end of our stream. Now, what happens now? What's going on, Pat? Are you just going to disconnect and leave? No. What's going to happen is we're going to go on a raid because that is how we end every stream around here. Sorry, I'm going to drink a little more water as we finish up. I'm going to go find somebody doing cool shit and we're going to go hang out with them, which is my promise to you. We always end with a raid, as John says. Who is streaming tonight? Looks like Mary Kish is streaming Silent Hill 2. We have not raided Mary in a while because of scheduling and things on Mary's end. So it's been a hot minute. So we are going to raid Mary Kish, who is playing Silent Hill 2. So we will hear Mary scream as she plays it. But I think it'll be very fun. Mary rules. Feel free to come along on this raid. I hope you have a great rest of your Monday night. I hope you come back tomorrow at 9 p.m. Please ring in the new year with me, your friend Pat. It's going to be fun. You'll have a good time. Thank you all so much for being here. Thanks for coming along this raid. See you tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.